Danganronpa is one of the most popular visual novel franchises of all time, having high and well-received ratings on every single website you can think of, and is considered profound by thousands across the world for how it blended an incredibly interesting concept with its unique gameplay. Gameplay isn't something seen in visual novels very often, and Danganronpa was one of the first in its genre to do so, revolutionizing things and managing to appeal to a wider variety of people. So, why am I making this video then, if this is the case? If Danganronpa is so well liked and considered profound by so many, then why is it hated? And is it hated at all? Or am I preaching to a crowd that doesn't exist? Because you look at ratings on Danganronpa 1 and 2 on Steam, you'll see 96 to 97% positive scores, so is this hateful group I'm talking about that 3%? Not necessarily, but also yes. But the truth is, the majority of people who don't like Danganronpa haven't played it. Now, this isn't me saying the people who hate it are blinded, because, well, I myself have built my channel over the past 3 months on criticising the Danganronpa franchise, because as much as I do love this franchise, there are a lot of things that I wish were done a little bit better, and a lot of those criticisms come from the heart of someone who does really appreciate this franchise and wishes it to do things better. Now, obviously, a lot of these criticisms aren't things that are necessarily an objective fault of the franchise, but rather just something I'm saying I would rather them do. But anyhow, does that mean that the people who hate this franchise are people like me, but a bit more negative about what they're saying? Not really. It necessarily means that those people haven't actually played the game and think things because they've seen things and then infer from that that is what the franchise actually is like. Now, this isn't what everyone is like, but that is a lot of people. Anyway, let's get into the actual reasons as to why people don't like Danganronpa, including reasons as to why people who have played it don't like it, and reasons to why people who haven't played it also don't like it. Reason number 1, okay, right off the bat, let's address the monoball in the room. It is the fandom. Okay, and I know I shouldn't be saying that straight away because ultimately you guys, the people watching the video, are the fandom, but the fandom is millions of people, okay? Millions. And the fandom, you know, it goes on for years and years and years. The people of the fandom now aren't the same people the fandom had 4 or 5 years ago, or even more before that. Now, all fandoms in gaming, in my opinion, are shit. Why? Because gamers are moody little nerdy cunts like myself who just sit around complaining all day long. But there is a small portion of those moody little nerdy cunts who take things a bit too far and enter territory where it becomes a little bit insufferable. Nowadays, it seems the fandom is quite chill, especially on my corner of the internet, because, you know, this isn't just me saying this to appease you guys, but 99% of the people in my comment section are fine. You know, we're nice to each other, we address each other correctly, we respect each other, and that is what I'm seeing in my comment sections. I'm not seeing insufferable cunts, so who knows, maybe the fandom as a collective is fine these days, or I've just got the good part of the fandom in my comment section, I don't know. But either way, I know the fandom isn't, you know, I'm not blaming everyone, I'm not even the one blaming anyone here, I'm saying this is what the people who hate the franchise will blame, but by blaming that fandom, you're actually only blaming like 0.01% of the people who, unfortunately, got very infamous for being arseholes. So yeah, that's reason number 1. Reason number 2, and this is again more infamy. You know, this is parts of the franchise that unfortunately are kind of terrible and spread to the masses, to the mainstream, so to speak, and those people see it and think, ooh, what the fuck is this franchise? And to be honest, I'm not going to sit here and defend it, because yeah, I know this franchise gets fucking weird. Okay, there's things characters will say, things characters will do, things like sexualization where it shouldn't be, and especially a lot of scenes in Ultra Despair Girls, even some in Danganronpa 3, V3. Every single fucking game in this franchise has weird shit that people look to and say, what the hell is this franchise? Who made this? And yeah, I ultimately can't defend that, okay? I'm not going to sit here and try and convince those people that this franchise is the zenith of the medium, because yeah, it does have some really fucking weird things to it, and if you see that, I can imagine a lot of people will be immediately turned off by it, so you know what, that's fair enough. Reason number 3, the base concept of the game, despite being profound, will turn people away, and again, this is fair enough, this is a very subjective matter, and if you find out what the game is about and you think, right, well that's fucking weird, I don't want to play it, that's not my taste, then that's fair enough. And to be honest, the game being the way it is, if you tell me to explain it to someone who's a bit older than me, they're going to probably think I'm a fucking weirdo for liking this shit. Okay, if I tell them I play a game where high schoolers get locked in a school by a robotic bear and are forced to kill one another to escape, you might think I've lost my fucking mind, and to be honest, I probably did about 4 years ago when I first played this game. But, you know, that concept does appeal to people because, especially as visual novel fans, we like stories that are a bit, you know, crazy at times, a bit profound, something that you wouldn't really expect to see, you know, being put out on Netflix or something. And that's what Danganronpa ultimately is, something a bit different, a different style of game, something that no one's ever really seen before, and that's ultimately why it appeals to people and why so many people look to Danganronpa and be, wow, that is a crazy fucking concept. But then the average person may look at it and go, right, well, that's kind of actually really weird, I don't like that. But equally, some of those people would actually go and then play the game and think, okay, I do actually understand why this is appealing to some. But I digress. That, at the end of the day, if you hear the base concept, I do not blame you if you hear that and think, right, well, this is fucking weird and I don't want to play it. So that's reason number 3. Numero quattro, reason number 4. Now, we're moving away from people who haven't actually played the games now and going on to people who have played the games. Why do some of the people who have played the games not like them? Well, the first reason is because they played them and the games that aren't that great in the franchise or have things that they don't quite like, they don't like. Those entries include Ultra Despair Girls, Danganronpa 3, and unfortunately, Danganronpa V3. Now, let's talk about this. Danganronpa 3 isn't very well liked anyway. Honestly, I don't know where, because I'm in the weird bag where I just think the Danganronpa 3 anime is okay. It's inoffensive, it's just aggressively mediocre. Okay, nothing in it surprises me, nothing in it shocks me, nothing in it does anything profound or overwhelmingly engaging. It's just aggressively and unfortunately mediocre. But that also being the case, many people will be on the other side of the spectrum and think, right, no, this isn't aggressively mediocre, this is abysmal dogshit, because people will shift to that direction. And I can understand why people see that with some of the weirder things that go on in Danganronpa 3, so there's that. There's also Ultra Despair Girls. I don't think I have to explain this one. Ultra Despair Girls is the peak of all the weird and ridiculous, horrible sexualization shit that happens in this franchise. I can completely understand anyone who hates this franchise as a result of Ultra Despair Girls. And V3, you know, the two big things that come to mind, the three big things. Kaede's death annoys a lot of people, fair enough, I get it. You wanted a female protagonist, that's fine, I understand, fair enough. Chapter 3 being as weird as it is with the whole fucking Korekio shit, I don't even want to say the I word. And Chapter 6 being a very profound, interesting, deep, but also interesting and divisive choice. A choice that was definitely going to rile up some feathers. Something that, when you consider all three of those factors, if someone doesn't like any of those, then yeah, you can understand why they would come out the series with a poor taste in their mouth. And that's fair enough. Let's move on. Reason number 5, that being another one why people who have played the franchise don't like it. They've played it and they just don't like the story or characters. Now, a lot of these complaints that I'm listing, you'll see these a lot on places like Twitter and Reddit, and that's where I'm getting these from. And people who've experienced the Danganronpa series and don't like it because their tastes are different, and that's fair enough. Danganronpa is a very bizarre and interesting story, and at times it doesn't take itself seriously, and there are many characters and plot lines and devices that either fall flat on their ass or get halfway there, and then after that they then fall flat on their ass. Which, to me, yeah, I complain about these things, I criticize these things, it doesn't stop me from loving the franchise for what it is, but these things are a deal breaker for some, especially those who have experienced, you know, I don't like using the word because it makes me feel pretentious, but, you know, more intellectual visual novels, you know, franchises that are much more consistent and grounded with their storytelling. That's not necessarily to say that an abstract or bizarre story like Danganronpa can't be told and shouldn't be told, because a lot of the soul of the franchise comes from the fact that it is as ridiculous as it is. But for someone who doesn't vibe with something like that and wants their series to not make them have to suspend disbelief, then playing Danganronpa will make them think, right, well, I don't like this. And that is also a complaint that I see a lot online. Not quite as much as the others, but I do see that, and it is definitely there. And I think that is the last reason of the video. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel down below. I make Danganronpa videos every week, sometimes twice a week if I can be asked. I've been slacking a little bit recently, but I'm trying to get back onto it for at least the rest of the year. Some good things coming up soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Ella for being a super proxitor. Follow my socials below, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.